Magnetic essence, the twist of Freud, toys the big boys, the expensive food, licking the dentist to crush the will of the truth. Undergo the misplaced, depths with threads, and the dense fun like threads. Against kids in the Gen X meds, fight for the mental, lead voices the backs to slow down and make foul the brainwaves of Zion. Only dying but Orion got the deity thoughts, the new age hope, blotted and wrapped. Soaking in hijack message that led you to get casted and locked trapped in a pack of cognizant dissonant raps. Shalom, this is Judah J. Shalom, this is Judah J. Today, folks, this is Targeted Night Live. This is where you can come in and you can join the live chat conversation. Those that are targeted individuals that have had many different experiences dealing with direct weaponry, dealing with direct conversation, dealing with people that are monitoring them, people that are following them, of course, stalking them. Please join the live so we can have a conversation about it. All you have to do is go to the comment section. You will see the link and you'll be able to join the chat. See the link and be able to join the chat. I will be waiting for just a while before I get into the main topic, but I hope everybody's doing well. I hope that we have a lot of great conversations on tonight's live. That would be really cool to get some more insight on what's been going on in your life as being a target individual, what things you're doing to actually help yourself, so maybe that you can help the community. Iron sharpens iron, so it'll be nice to have a lot of good conversation on for the night's show. If you would like to like, share, and subscribe, you can. I always tell you that you can like, share, and subscribe if you would like to. That will grow the channel. Also, you can donate to the channel by going to Cash App, $ Judah J Talks 144. You can also join the Patreon, become a Patreon of the channel by going to patreon.com/JudahJ12. And you can also go to my actual channel and you can become a member. And there are many tiers to this channel, about 3 tiers to the channel, which you would pay a small fee monthly in order to get content that is not on YouTube. So as far as my situation goes lately, I've been dealing with a lot of things, but it's a lot of covert type, sneaky targeting that's going on. Of course, all the other targeting, I'm pretty sure, happens, but the Most High God has given me sort of my attention. He placed it towards those things that I need to place them on. So things like work and just taking care of my everyday well-being in my life. But you know, I'm dealing with this targeting when it comes to working with people at my job. At first, of course, what normally happens with a targeted individual is everybody is trying to get information on you, and they're trying to sort of reel you in like a fish that has a fishing pole, and they're trying to see how much it takes for you to get a hold of it, to get a hold of their bait, and so they can reel you in. So at my place of employment, people, like I said, really were engaging at first. They were really nice. They were kind. They were supportive. But then after a while, these cats started to change, and now their personalities, they're showing who they truly are as being these perps and these quote unquote gang stalkers that we talk about. They're starting to change how they talk to me. They're starting to, I'm noticing that they're, like when I notice their eyes, how they're looking at me kind of differently, kind of side eye. They're kind of like a lot more snappy with me in the conversations they have. Like, let's say I do something good at the job, and it looks like, you know, you would give somebody praise for doing something good at the job. But nah, not these people. What they'll do is they will give you praise and say, "Oh, you're doing such a great job, and it's been so much better since you've been here, and we can see the change that you're having with these kids." But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll start to like, let's say they're supposed to help you out to be able to handle a certain job. They have to give you this certain supports in the classroom in order to do your job effectively. So they're not doing none of that now. They won't tell me when things are happening, when meetings are happening. I just got to this place of employment, but they will not tell me when certain meetings are occurring. They're not giving me the insight on like certain lessons that are supposed to be taught. Since I just got there, I don't have a great understanding of exactly how the last instructor taught certain subjects based on individualized lesson plans. So each student has an individualized lesson plan, their strengths and weaknesses. So the teacher has to know how to strategize around the students' weaknesses and their strengths. And so if a sub comes in there and they have no idea about what's going on with these students, they're just going to teach them. They're not going to differentiate the lesson. They're not going to change it to meet the needs of the student. And so that's the kind of stuff that I go through whenever I get on a job. I have to make sure that I do my due diligence to find out, like, and overly, like excessively, to find out from these people, the staff, what I'm supposed to be doing outside of the lesson plan to be able to gauge the learning of every student in my classroom, because they won't tell me. They won't say anything to me. Like people like me will go into a situation where we won't get any help or any guidance whatsoever. We have to be like some sort of like a magician, so to speak. You got to just be able to pull stuff out of thin air. And to do our job, we don't get the supports. Let's just say that. And being an Israelite black man in this country, and also being a targeted individual, we cannot just go into a situation like a job and think that we're going to be treated with any sort of respect. They're going to usurp our authority at every chance that they get. They will do it right in our face and in front of the actual people that we're working, that are supposed to be under us, that we're supposed to be instructing or guiding. They will come in and they will usurp your authority and just make you look stupid and feel stupid. They will also, like I said, not prepare you for the job that you have, and then also reprimand you, or come against you and say that you didn't do this right once they did not even set you up or prepare you to do it right. So you have to be just like this all-knowing specimen that can just handle any situation, and you have to still stay at that level. This is what happens to a black person when they go on a job and they have a job where they're like in some sort of leadership position, because the people around you do not want you to be in that position anyway. They see it as uh, something's wrong with them that you are in that position. If you have elevated to a certain place in your job as a black, what my experience, I'm not talking about anyone else's experience, but if you've elevated to some certain position on your job where you are now leading people and you are in charge of the daily operations of a place, the people under you, they will not like that at all. They will see, not even secretly, they will overtly show you that they are not trying to hear you, listen to you. They don't respect you being in that position as being a black man. They do not respect, or a black woman, they will not respect you, because they still see you as this slave that was brought over from Africa. That and all of the images and the pictures and the videos and how they portrayed us as being less than and not people that have any worth. And we're just little children, basically, and thinking and in the way that we carry ourselves and all the images that they've painted us to be. So now we get in these positions that we have deserved and earned. I've earned the position that I have as being a teacher for many years of schooling, many years of going to different schools and having to be around these people that don't. And I'm not the guy that's going to say everyone around me doesn't like me and they want me to fall. But trust me, when you are in academia as a black man or a black woman, and you, let's say you are actually intelligent and you are actually putting your best foot forward and you get good grades and you really understand the information, you got people around you that are peeping game. They see exactly what you're doing, that people that are of other nations, and they will not like that. They will show you that they will not like that. Your instructors will act like they like that and they're just supportive, but then secretly, I'm at the point now where I will even just say overtly, secretly, they will be plotting your downfall every chance that they get, because there's something inside of Esau. There's something inside of Esau, which we know is the whole Jacob and Esau thing, because we took the birthright. That has festered and burned so strong and just burned so deep in them, right? It's so hot that they have to bring us down. They cannot feel comfort or joy when they see us elevate in any way, shape, or form, even if it's not over them. Being on jobs where you're not even the head guy, but you might just have a position over people. They will look at that and see that they will just, and so listen, target individual going through a situation like this where every day you have Esau and all his cohorts and all of those gang stalkers that see you rise and elevate. So what they will do, like I said, they will first give you platitudes and tell you how well you're doing and how great you're doing. But secretly, they're plotting with each other to find ways to covertly bring you down. Okay. So this is something that in my situation as a target individual and as a teacher, they say, well, why aren't there any black male teachers in education? The kids need to see black male teachers. Okay, well, I'll be the first one to tell you that it's not the kids that are the problem. It's not the fact that we have a problem dealing with the kids. If it was just me going to help the kid teach the kids, that would be the greatest thing I could. It'd be just the greatest feeling in the world. The problem is dealing with these staff members, these adults that don't want to see you in that position. They want to see you as something like an IA. And an IA is an instructional assistant that does amazing. I used to be an IA. Does an amazing job for the students. They help the teacher to execute the lesson plans. They go to each kid and they make sure they may be assigned a certain child to help them in the day, to help them if they have behavioral disorders or if they help them with some sort of learning lesson that they have. But they're not the teacher. The teacher is the authority, so to speak, in the classroom. And when you, as a black man or black woman, rise to that level as being the teacher, right, where people have to ask you questions, where the students see you as the authority figure. The Esau and the nations outside of us do not want the children to see us in this position of authority because that shows change. That takes us out of the place, the lowly positions that they've always wanted us to stay in. They don't want the children to see a black man or a black woman, Israelite man or woman, as somebody that has any um, um, ability to lead, ability to shape the narrative, the ability to be the one that people go and ask questions, the ability for the one that the kids look up to and say, I can esteem to be this person and they look like me and they're smart. And even though I come from a background, the kid might say, the young black child might say, even though I come from a background that is where I don't see the worth of education, or I just don't see many people that have graduated from high school or college, or there are not that many people that I see in my surroundings, in my environment, that have that type of position. I can do it because I see my teacher and he or she looks like me and they're actually doing it. I have to ask them for the knowledge to explain to me how this thing works. How do these numbers put together? How do you put them together and actually get an answer? How do you read fluently? What are the skills and the tactics that you need to know in order to effectively read or to figure out this equation see, they don't want the black man or woman to be the one that the children look to be able to give them this type of information, to elevate their mind so that they can rise above where they are at that present state, right? They want the other nations to be those people that are seen by the children in those positions of power, because if they keep them there, then those children will never see themselves as having the possibility of being there. It is a joke. It is the lowest of the low, but it's the way they have kept down my people. It's the way they've kept down Esau. The way they've kept down Jacob. And being a target individual makes it even worse, because check this out. And blessings to you, True Pepper Blue. And I will be going to the comment section and reading comments in just 1 second. The thing about being a target individual and being an Israelite is that now you're dealing with people that have spirits jumping into them. So, like I told you before, they may give you all sorts of praise when you first enter into the job, into this place you work at, when you're surrounded by the other nations. They may say you're doing such a great job, and they may say, any help that you need will give to you. But then, as a target individual, they have a spirit that now comes into them, that since they don't believe in spiritual things, don't most of them are atheists, most of them are those that don't believe in a god. This is just the truth. The nations, they don't believe in a god, so they don't believe that there's a possibility for spirits to enter into them. So when these spirits enter into them out of nowhere, it can change how they see you, how they view you, the thoughts they have about you. They could have been happy, really comfortable around you at first, but because the spirit comes in them, now they're cold. Now they start to think things about you that aren't right, that have no validation. Now they start to maybe start to talk about you around other about you to other people that look like them in that workplace. And then all of a sudden, this once happy communication you had, this once feel happy, like feeling a connection and unity that you had with these people is now over. And it happens like clockwork. It happens all the time. Now, this has just been my situation. It's been my experience. And then what it leads me to do is have to think, if I've done to think about my own self in this situation. Have I done something to these people that has led them to feel this way? No, it's not anything that I've done to lead them to feel this way. We are spiritual beings in a physical existence, right? In the physical shell, physical body. And we have to deal with the spiritual realm, like I've been telling y'all before. Target individuals do not have it easy here in this place. And if you're an Israelite, which is a Negro, you do not have it easy in this place whatsoever. You will deal with some of the worst, most heinous, most secret. They do stuff in secret against us, and then you really have no ability to tell anybody what's going on, because they shape it. The people are gang stalkers, these narcissists. They're so skilled in the evil things they do to us that when they do it, they think like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 steps ahead to see how this thing is going to play out, because they wake up thinking of evil things to do to target individuals. They wake up and say, okay, if we do this, and then the target individual does this, they're going to react to it like this, so I'm going to do this. And if they react to it like this, then I'm going to do this. If they react to it, and you know what it is the spirits telling them every move to make. They're listening to familiar spirits in their ear that actually hear that is actually telling them how they should approach targeting a targeted individual, how they should approach their torment tactic against a target individual. It's familiar spirits. So you might just, like I said, go into a situation at a place of your job, your work. You might have a relationship that you have really invested a lot of your time and your energy in. You might have a whole bunch of things that you have just really been positive about in the beginning and had very positive experiences with these people, right? Of the other nations, or of just, just normal people out in the world. And then all of a sudden they will change out of nowhere. They will change because a spirit will jump into them, and now it be the overarching dominant presence in this person, which switches off, like flips a switch, like in Star Wars Order 66, where all of the what is that, the soldiers and that used to wear white, the robots in Star Wars, they're for the Empire, those soldiers with the helmets, right? Well, in Clone Wars, I don't know if you watch Star Wars Clone Wars, they were first on the side of the Jedis, but then of course the Sith master, he flips the switch, Order 66, and they all turn against the good side, against the rebellion, against those that were on the Jedi side. So they just completely flip out and switch and change. Now their demeanor changes. Now they're against you. They're trying to destroy you. They're trying to just, that is what a target individual's situation is like in this world. And for me, it has been that pretty much my whole life. And only 7 years ago did I acknowledge that this stuff was actually happening to me, where a person can just change out of nowhere, and then you're left standing there wondering what you did, but there's no answers. True Pepper Blue, let's read what you have said. Let's read what you said. And blessings to you and all those that are on the live stream. The other day, she stayed at this hotel. It was Middle Eastern owned. They kept banging on your door. When you confronted them about it, some big lady stranger interfered with the conversation. Hmm. Yep, they like to get in places where you're at. Like if you go to a motel or a hotel, they will most definitely be in the motel right next to you, in the room next to you. If you're somebody that they are truly targeting, they will set up shop and they either have cameras already in the room, or like I told you before, they're dealing with spirits, monitoring spirits that can see you even if you don't see them. And so then they're basically just watching you in the spiritual realm. Some of them are doing astral projection. That means that they're leaving their body, being held on by the silver cord that attaches them to their body. Yeah, the silver cord. There's a silver cord. The people leave their bodies. The reason why they don't die and they can go and travel in the spiritual realms because there's a silver cord that they're attached. Their soul is attached to their body, their spirit. So then they can come back to their body after they get done with their monitoring of the target. So basically, you're being watched by people doing astral projection. You're being watched by people that are listening to familiar spirits in their ears. You're also being watched by people that actually have physical, technical devices in their rooms or wherever they're at that shows them what you are doing. Because if you're really somebody that they're targeting, most likely wherever you move, and I'm not saying it's 100%. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this stuff to scare you. But most likely, if you're someone that they're really targeting, and when I say they, I mean Satan and his hierarchy, his people that he has in this program, they possibly have already put cameras and all sorts of surveillance technology in your where you live. So they're watching. And so that to True Pepper Blue, that is something that is very common for a targeted individual to go through, because we are at the head of their discussions. We are on their mind 24/7. There is nothing that we can do that they can just look the other way and say, oh, that doesn't mean anything. They're dissecting everything that we do, everything we say, in order to gain, like I told you before, in the Bible, it talks about in Jeremiah 20:10, how they make a report. They just look at us, they watch us, and they are watching us to be able to make a report against us, like creating a dossier or a record against a certain person to say they did this wrong, they did this wrong, they did this wrong. And now who do you think they're going to? They're going to God, because who you're dealing with are spirits. The spirits in these wicked men and women and even children that are gang stalkers, they have spirits that guide them, and these spirits in them are monitoring spirits, familiar spirits, all these spirits, right? They're just making a report on you. So when they watch you, they're not watching you for no reason. They're not watching me for no reason. They want to watch you sin. That's why I made a video about how important it is to get away from sin and the sin currency society. The wicked ones get elevated in power and stature and prestige. They gain prestige, they gain wealth based off of making a covenant with Satan, and that covenant is only bound together or strong if they get you to sin. So if they get the one that does not have the covenant with Satan to sin, then they will gain rewards and power. So the spirits in them, in these gang stalkers, in these narcissists, right, controlled by the kingdom of Satan wholeheartedly. They just watch you in the spirit or wherever they're at to get information so that they can go and be able to make a report against you to God. So then God will hopefully take his hand off of you, and you will be now at the behest and in the control of Satan and his kingdom, and then they can destroy you and take your soul. This whole thing is about souls. So let me see. True Pepper Blue, she says, uh let me see. So the stranger interfered with our conversation and you filmed her and told her to butt out. And then you called her a demon as you was leaving. She pulled your hair and you had to fight her. Oh my gosh, True Pepper Blue. This is some stuff going on. Target Individual Live, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. I called the cops. The cops would not help me. They turned it around on me and turned not help you. They turned it around on you and made it seem as though you was at fault. The hotel staff walked in your room while you was getting dressed. You cannot walk in someone's room while they're getting dressed. You've already paid for the key. They're coming in your room without the legalities to be able to come in your room. And this is the type of stuff that would only happen to a targeted individual. It's the only thing that would happen. So, I mean, it's over and over and over.
That's the magnetic essence, the twist of Freud, the big.
Sorry about that. Trying some new things out here on the channel. Get it right a little bit later on. But these are the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And as a target individual, it seems like the stuff just never stops. And no one wants to believe a target individual when they tell you that people are going, breaking their boundaries when it comes to the TIs, right? Having things set up ahead of time, having agendas set up ahead of time before we even get to the place wherever we're at, in order to cause us to fall in some way, shape, or form and get so upset and angry where you want to hurt somebody, maybe. And their goal is that they want a target individual to get so upset by their targeting that they hurt themselves, just hurt someone else. I've told you guys that so many times. That's why you have to have things put in place. You have to have certain measures put in place in order to keep your mind right, so that you are not overwhelmed by all this negative, evil stimuli that is being sent to you on a second by second basis, sometimes by these wicked men and women and even children that are gang stalkers. They do not care about you. They hate you. They've always hated you. And the thing is, they want you to internalize that and hate others. So it's all about an individual you're dealing with, a narcissist that is guided by a demonic spirit that has overtaken their lives, has corrupted their souls to the point where they feel the individual feels hopeless. They feel so angry at the world now because that anger, that spirit is in them that they let in. Most of the time that they let in. Sometimes it could have happened as a child and they messed with stuff in the spiritual realm without knowing, as far as dreams and having interactions with demons and dreams and having sexual encounters with succubus and incubus and the marine kingdom. See, there's so much that goes into this, but I'm talking about people that willingly, with their words, they decided to let Satan's spirits into their lives and follow that evil, wicked path of walking on that dark side and getting involved in doing these practices, these demonic evil practices, kundalini, third eye worship, ancestral worship, astral projection, playing with tarot cards and Ouija boards and tea leaves and all of these things that they do, right? When they willingly decided that a witch was cool to be and a warlock was cool to be, and they wanted to do it because they felt like it was just gonna give them that certain missing element, that certain something that they always felt they should have had, that power, that ability to influence people, that ability to be able to say the right words to people, to get them to vibe with them, to connect with them. When these people that made that decision, that they wanted that type of foundation to be at their core, to get that power, then they now have been influenced by some stuff. I'm pretty sure by now they didn't want no part of. People that opened themselves up to Satan's kingdom in order to get a certain something that they felt they were missing are now feeling the brunt of that decision that they made, the negative effects in these last days of that decision that they made. And it's a horrible thing. It's a very horrible thing, because now it's going to be even harder in this world, in this current world that we live in. It's going to be even harder to be able to resist those spirits, because those spirits are now very strong, super strong, stronger than they were in the past. So these gang stalkers, they don't understand. They've had their little run where they've had power and the power to sort of have victories over people that weren't like them, that weren't targeting people, like the innocent people that have to deal with the brunt of their evil that coming against them every day. But now, and in the past, they were able to kind of get their not have any repercussions for what they were doing. They just go after following somebody in a car, putting on the one headlight, racing past them, trying to make them kind of torment them and make them afraid on a freeway. Or, okay, you're like Pepper Blue says, you're at a hotel and somebody is next to you in the room next to you and they're beating on the wall, or maybe they're turning up their radio or their television very loud, right? Where you can't get any sleep, right? You can't think. Or like my situation where I was at a place where I used to live and the person next door to me had a microwave when I was laid my mattress on the floor and it was kind of up against the wall. And I guess because they were doing astral projection and saw me in the spiritual realm, or who knows, maybe this place that I lived in had cameras already in the room set up. They put a microwave right by where my head was, and they turned, and I heard a noise, and I didn't equate it to being a microwave. I just heard this noise, and it was like right by my head, and I'm waking up dizzy, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like lethargic, and I'm like, they put a microwave, and I heard it because later on, when the person left, the door was sort of cracked open because I stayed in a place where you rent a room, and there was a person that stayed next door, and his room was sort of open. I seen the microwave I think I seen a microwave right next to the wall. And of course, I heard it later on. I kind of put two and two together where it was a microwave right next to the wall where my head was. So they were trying to have all of those those waves come to and affect my brain, right? Now, what kind of individual would actually do that to someone, regardless of what they've done to you? Why would you hurt another person that's in humanity like that? So that's what we deal with as being targeted individuals, people doing nefarious, evil things against us. And a lot of the times you can't explain it because they're so well crafted and so thought out and planned that it doesn't make sense if you said that someone did it. So you just have to keep going through it. Now, here is the remedy. If you have the most high God, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his name, in the name of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, which a lot of you call Jesus Christ. If you have him as the head of your life. Now, you might have issues still in your life that we are all trying to, in these last days, work out our salvation with fear and trembling. If you are someone that's truly seeking the Most High God. But this is what I'm saying. If you have him in your life, you have now invited the one that has the power to release you from the bondage of your torment, that give you a mindset to know that even though you're going through these things, he is right there with you. And he is moving boulders and mountains in the spiritual realm that are coming against you to give you that serenity and that peace and that hope that you need. You will have the mindset to know he's doing it. It's not just saying something and saying he's going to do it, but then not believing it. If you keep going back to the Most High God in prayer, he says that those that stay in the secret place shall dwell under the shadow of the Most High God. So the secret place is when you are in your prayer closet and you are praying and you are asking him and telling him about all your stuff. He says, cast your cares upon me. So when you as a target individual cast your care upon the rock, upon the stone that the builders rejected, you cast your cares upon the King of all kings, the Lord, the true Lord of all lords. He is going to start to do the miracles, the shifting of the stuff that's been corrupt in your life in the spiritual realm. That's going to tell Satan and all of those in his kingdom that this one is not one you can touch or you can have. You may try them and you may even sometimes seemingly have a victory over them, but I'm not going to let you take them. I'm not going to let you destroy this one. I'm going to increase the power of my child, even through their torment, Because in this world, the Most High God says that we shall be persecuted. And some people may have more persecution than others. Some people, individuals in this world, like I target individuals, may have a way more persecution just on a day-to-day basis in this world, more than other people can possibly. 1 second. One second. We may have. 1 second. Sometimes you have problems with your camera, but you got to get it right. Oh, okay. So we may have more issues than most people in the world, right? But the thing is when you know who is with you in the fire, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in the furnace, and the one that put him in the furnace looked in, and he seen another one, a fourth one. Who is that? That was Christ, protecting them from being singed in the furnace. And then when they opened the door, yeah, they were destroyed. Those other ones, right? So his people, though we go through, we will not be overcome. And if you are a target individual and you have gone through these experiences in your life, and you feel like there's no way out, there's no hope, you're just a single person on this earth dealing with these monsters all around you, doing evil to you in secret, and there's no really way that you can tell many people. They won't understand. You don't trust people anymore. You don't like going outside your house. You don't like to answer your phone because people are trying to make those little calls, spam calls, where they tell you, you see on your phone that they're calling from some place and you've never had any interaction with anybody from that place. And they're doing it all the time. I've gone through that before too. I've gone through them actually me making a text to somebody, right? And then the person calls me and I ask, or no, I've gone through the situation of where somebody called me that I knew and they said, why did you text me that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They write text on people's phone and send them to people that you know. I've gone through that before. That happened to me before. And do you think that that's something that they would like to let people know is actually happening? No. This stuff, but see, who are you going to actually tell that to? And what time of day are they going to give you to actually kind of calm you down? Or I identify with that. No. They'll think you're crazy. They'll just be, oh, that's unfortunate. Wow, did that happen? Oh, okay. Anyways, how about those Yankees? It's like it doesn't matter because these people they're not supposed to give you the peace that you need. Only Christ can give us the peace that we need. He's the only one. Because when all hell comes loose in your life, it goes off in your life, and it seems like nothing's going right at all. It seems like everywhere you turn, there's some sort of challenge. Everywhere, every person you talk to, they're not able to give you that certain conversation or that give you that word or that whatever sense of hope that you need to make it through. Now you got to have that inner type of connection, that relationship. It got to be built on the rock where you trust in His word. You say, even on going through this, you said this. You said this, you'll never leave me nor forsake me. You shall preserve me. See, I have these certain scriptures that have just really got me through the hardest times of my life when it's just been me and Christ Yahusha, me and my Father, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When I say, you know what, I'm not even living the best life right now. I'm in sin right now, but I know I'm wrong and I want to be out of this sin. I don't want my mind to go towards sin, Father. I don't want to stay in this pattern of evil living or unrighteous living where I'm deceiving myself and tricking myself to believe that I can stay in this type of living and live this kind of life, knowing that it goes against your ways. And I can't say, oh, well, I'm going through all these things in my life and I have a right to kind of wig out and zone out and do the evil thing that pleases the flesh because, oh, I'm going through a hard time, so He'll understand. Oh, He'll sustain me through this. Nah, there has to be that change that we all should be seeking. When you're going through the hard times and not sinning, where you are saying, I'm gonna completely like face my face like flint towards the Most High God, towards His kingdom. Seek you first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all things shall be added to you. But how hard is that sometimes? How hard sometimes is it to keep your eyes on the one that said he'll give you perfect peace? He who keeps his eyes on me, he said, I'll keep you in perfect peace. But in this type of world, if we're being completely honest, it is very difficult. Even though and then the Most High God says, take upon my yoke, for it is light, it is easy. And then I look at that, I'm like, how easy is it when you're living in a world that's trying to get you to sin 24/7? Images, people saying things, doing things, you see things, evil things around you 24/7. See, here's the thing. He says the just shall live by faith. And though, he says that the righteous shall overcome. So, wow, the righteous shall overcome, and the kingdom to come is not for the many, but for the few. So that remnant that will be saved, that remnant of the Most High Yah that are in him, they shall be those that deserved to get there, not by any power that comes from them, but because they were truly chosen. Because to go through and live each day in a corrupt world and society as bad as this one, being in Babylon, being in the other nations now that are polluted by the corruption of Babylon and all the wicked things that they've taught us, to be someone that makes it to his kingdom makes them, in my book, pretty special. I seek to be one of those people. Sometimes it feels like it's an impossible journey, but then I think about who died for me. And once again, he says, if the wicked man, see, I'm one of those people that's always been sort of attuned to the fact that I don't know everything, to the fact that I'm nothing without Christ, to the fact that I ain't did nothing really. I don't do nothing other than just rely on his mercy. And I've learned, and I'm learning to the fear of the Lord. I mean, and people say, oh, we have to fear the Lord. And they say that they really fear the Lord. But do they really fear the Lord? Do they keep sinning and doing the same sin and then try to convince themselves, because it sounds good, to say that you fear the Lord? To fear the Lord is, a lot of time, you had to have gone through a lot of experiences to cause you to fear the Lord. And a lot of the time, like, those experiences were experiences that you probably shouldn't have made it out of. You probably shouldn't have made it out of these experiences, but because you are those, like I said, are maybe chosen to go. And when I say chosen to make it through certain experiences and make it another day. You were this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the 144,000 that of the Israelites that are gonna. I'm not talking about some special prophet or chosen to be. I'm talking about chosen to live another day. You were chosen to make it through that situation, chosen to make it through that situation by the Most High God, and to build you up, because he says that these things will perfect us when we go through our torment and our problems and all of our stuff, right? That if he brings us through these things, through his mercy, because everything is about his mercy. He has control over our breaths. He has control over our heartbeat. He has control over all the functions of our body. If the Most High God did not want us to be here, he could have turned the switch and flipped the switch right away, anytime he wanted to. Turn the lights off, and that would have been it. But see, we were chosen to have another day, even though life is not promised to any individual. When you have the opportunity to live, you were chosen for that opportunity. And now to me, that's a blessing, because when you open your eyes, you know that you're living in a corrupt, disgusting, evil, wicked world. And the people in this world, most of them don't know God, don't want to have nothing to do with God. They don't seek God. They don't want to seek God. Even when they hear anything about God, they get mad and upset and angry, and their whole vibe changes, and they make you feel weird about talking about God, and all of these things. So you live in that world. And for you to still have a connection with God and to seek God, and even if you sin, if he chose you, like I said, to be able to overcome and get past that sin and cry out to him, and if your mind actually says, I sinned and I'm going to go to God, that's the Most High God's mercy. If it says, you know what, I've been doing this sin and I feel like, I feel bad about this and sorry about this, but I keep doing it, and it's like I'm getting whooped by God. You hear it? Stop, pause. You said, oh, I'm being whooped by God. So there are people on the earth that know when God's chastising them, and that leads them to repentance. There are people on this earth also that don't see God in anything that goes on in their lives. They don't know when they're being chastised by the Most High God. They don't know when their sin is the root of their problem, of why their lives are falling apart. So they continue in the sin, and then they wonder why nothing that they do will stop the problems and all the madness from occurring. But if they were people that had the heart of the mind of the Most High God, of Christ, they would understand that they are disobeying. They're doing something against God that's rubbing God the wrong way. That they're disobeying Him. They're not doing something that's pleasing to the Most High God. So He is causing all these storms to come into their life, hopefully to turn them around away from that path, leading them to His path. But then if they don't have any discernment and they don't have that connection with the Most High God, and they don't have that connection with Christ, they're not going to see the God's hand in their trial. And so they're going to stay in that trial. And it might take them out. So as a targeted individual, time out for saying, I'm just going to live any kind of way, go through all of these targeting individual experiences, being tormented by these wicked gang stalkers. They're only coming against you because they have a spirit in them that connects with you. Let me say that again. Target individuals, your gang stalkers, a lot of the time, they are only able to really come against you. Okay, let me clarify this. Pause. We live in a world that is, you're going to suffer persecution. Some people suffer more persecution than others. Now, why certain people suffer certain persecutions more than others is because I believe that the Most High God has called each one to a certain, there's a certain journey for each individual in the body, in the overall body of Christ, right? And everyone has a certain level of faith, a certain level of discernment, a certain gifts, all that make up the body of Christ. Now, in order for certain gifts to be matured, in order for certain gifts to grow to their full stature or to be developed and perfected, you might have to have a trial that is comparable to that blessing that you will receive. It says in the Bible, to that which is given, if you're given more, basically, then more is going to be required of you. And so these gifts might be assigned to you, and your targeting is going to reflect the stature of that gift that you have. So if you have a great gift, you're probably going to go through hell in your life. You're probably going to have some stuff going on in your life that absolutely makes no sense. You're not going to be able to figure it out without the Most High Yah just guiding you and leading you to the answer. You're going to be in confusion a lot of the time because it doesn't make any sense what's going on in your life. And as you walk with the Most High God, he starts to help you to solve the equation. The puzzle pieces you start to learn where they fit. And then when you start to learn about why you're going through your actual trial and what it was for, which he will tell you based off of you going through the challenge and overcoming, there's a certain elevation, there's a certain power that is now going to be released to the soul that is able to overcome the trial. You'll be elevated now to another position. So certain people that go through things in this world, they go through them for, of course, a reason that was put there from the foundation of the earth. You were assigned to that problem so that you can also be assigned to a certain position, if that makes any sense. You will be elevated to another position as you overcome the trial. So that's why not everybody has the same issues or problems. Some people's problems are very minuscule. Like it seems like they go through nothing. They could be walking with God, but it seems like they don't really have as many issues as somebody else that's walking with God. And you'll say, why me, Lord? Like I have a lot of reasons to say, why me, Lord? A lot of things I look at my life and I'm like, why did that happen? I was not, and I'm a person of, I like to observe myself and my mind and why I sort of like kind of think about why I do things. Like I do that all the time. Like a lot of people would look at me when they see me and like, what are you thinking about? It seems like you're in deep thought. I do that all the time because a lot of the time thinking about like why did I do that? Why did my actions, what led me to commit that action or to follow through with that action? And I'm always thinking about that. And so A lot of the times I'm thinking when bad things happen to me, it's like, where did that come from? I actually wanted great. I had nothing but peace and good thoughts towards this person, and they treat me like trash, or they lied to me when I have been giving and been just giving of my time and my resources, and they lied to me. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what part did I have to play in that? What, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this happening? And why does it keep happening over and over and over and over and over again? Like, it's just like, Lord, and see what the devil, the Satan, wants you to do is start to question the Lord's love for you. He wants you to get to a certain point where you've been manipulated by people or things you've been manipulated by people so many times, or the things that you had hope to accomplish, they never seem to manifest and matriculate in your life. It seems like you see other people and they have the things that you so want so bad, and then you say, am I the kind of person that's jealous, or do I begrudge people that have things? And then you say no. I mean, with an honest no, not like you're just trying to fade the phone. You just yeah. No, when you know that you're not like that, but then you still don't have these things that you've desired, and you've been asking God for these things for your whole life, right? You've been asking Him, and you still haven't gotten it. The devil wants you to now turn against God. He wants you. He wants you to see people and their blessings. A lot of the time, it's the wicked, the ones that don't have any connection with God, that don't seek God, that don't follow His laws, that don't know of Christ, that don't have nothing to do with the Most High God. A lot of the time, these people are elevated, and a lot of the time, the fallen one will lead these people to come into be around you in your circumstance, in your circumference, right? He'll have these people all around you, and you'll see them, the man with the woman that you've always, type of woman you've always wanted. Or maybe they have children and you don't have children. Maybe they have the certain clothes that you want, or some sort of car or house, or they're going on a trip, or they have this or that, and they'll put these people around you, right? And and they want you to start looking at your own self and say, why don't I have these things? And then next progression is that they want you to blame God. That's what they want you to do. And the person that does not have God, right? The person that does not have God, they have no defense against these mechanisms of Satan. Satan will come against you in such a deceptive, crazy way that you'll think you know what's going on, but you don't know what's going on, because he comes in layers. He comes in many different directions from many different angles. And he's only waiting for you to get to that place where you say, forget it. And then when you say, forget it, you open a door to your soul, open a door to your mind, right? For him to be able to come in there and now fill you with stuff that will be either detrimental to yourself or to others. Because a man or a woman, or even a child, we can go through a whole lot just being the connection that we have with being of the image of the Most High God. Because, you know, we're the image of the Most High God. He made us from him, right? But there comes a place where you go through a lot of stuff. You may be going through stuff that seems never ending. It never ends. It's just so amazing how much stuff it seems like you might be going through. And the devil knows it. And he knows how you're feeling about how you're going through that stuff. He knows that you feel hopeless. He might know that you feel like that God is turned against you and you something wrong with you, and you were meant to be always at the bottom. You were meant to always go through the hardest stress, the hardest torment type situations. You're meant to be in the relationship with a person loved you at first, and then out of nowhere they just change without any rhyme or reason. He wants to make you feel like you are just meant for the bad, evil, horrible stuff. But then you're not. But see, the thing is, he wants to get you to that place of desperation and hopelessness to where you will start to now say, okay, maybe I do deserve this, or maybe I have done something wrong. Maybe I am not worthy. Maybe God does hate me. And when you get there, you'll start hating God. And it's all about turning against God for Satan, right? You have to keep your eyes on the Most High God like flint. You have to seek him daily. You have to make it your number one thing you do. I mean, I'm not the most elegant in speech at all. I already know that, especially not on a YouTube streaming site. I'm just coming to my head, all this stuff right now based off my experiences and just the things, you know what I'm saying? Like what I'm feeling in my heart, right? But it's like I know if I don't know nothing else, I know you got to have a relationship with Christ. I'll say that again. If I don't know nothing else, I know you got to have a relationship with Christ, with the Lion of Judah, as you see the lion behind me. You got to have that. So if you don't have that, it don't matter what you think you're doing. It don't matter what you think you're doing to help yourself, to help other people. It ain't going to work. It's going to fall apart. It never was designed to work. God created us to need him. I'll say that again. God created his creation, us, to need him. We gotta seek the one we need. you need him. So all of this doing it on your own or going in this other direction and seeking these other gods that you know are no gods at all. I really do believe in all my heart that people deep down know there's no other God but the God of the Bible. People know there's no Christ, the Savior, than the Christ, our Savior, Yahushua Mashiach, which a lot of you call Jesus Christ. They know it, but they're mad at him, or they want to do what they want to do. They don't want to follow any laws, or they use the excuse that when I went to church, they had to dress up. And so I felt like they were judging me. So I stopped going to church because it seemed like a fashion show. Or it's all about the singing and the dancing in church. And I didn't want to go because that's not what faith is about. And I don't believe that God should be assigned to that type of behavior. And people go to church on Sunday and you see them on Monday and they're doing another thing. But what about your relationship with the one? You know, and I know that the God of the Bible, that our Savior, is not doing those wicked things that those false believers, worshipers, false quote unquote followers, pastors, teachers in the church are doing. We know that God don't stand by that, and these people be judged. So why are you trying to use those things that they do, those wicked things they do, and then say God, that's who God is? I'm the one that's going to say stop all that. I'm the one that's going to say stop trying to play the role. Stop trying to act brand new. You know who God is. And if you don't, I'm sorry for you. But you know who God is. And he has a standard. And there is a way we're supposed to live. We're not supposed to live in sin. That is of the devil. We're not supposed to do as we will. For that is not the whole law. The law of the Most High God is the law. And his kingdom is coming. And if you don't serve him, you'll serve Satan, because you can't serve two masters. And if you seek to serve two masters, then he'll basically you'll be spewed out of his mouth, because the lukewarm serve two masters. And I've been of the lukewarm mostly all my life. And I'm just telling you, that's not the way to go. So as I turn away from that, as I seek him daily, as I am crying out to him, as I'm denying my flesh, even though my flesh likes to do certain things that are not right. And so I am on the path of, you know what? It's not about trying to, and even that is arrogance. And I understand that. I'm on the path, right? So that means that you're the one that dictates how long you live. You're the one that says, okay, I'll just do it tomorrow. That's why in the Bible it says that we are supposed to say, Yah willing, I'll be here tomorrow, there tomorrow, there tomorrow. But we're so arrogant as a people, and I see it in myself, that we just take on positions of power that we have no right to take on. It's like we do not decide whether we live or die. We do not decide who, we don't judge. We're not the judge, but we are to lift our brothers up in righteousness and to tell them when they're doing the wrong things. So that's the difference. I'm not the one that's taking you to hell or to assign you to the lake of fire. He is, and he has a standard. And we have to obey his law, statutes, and commandments. And if you don't do it and you feel like the law is done away with, and you don't read his word, and you don't know that he says that he did not get rid of the law, he came to fulfill the law. He fulfilled the law. He didn't, but the law is our schoolmaster. Yeah, people are like, oh, the law is our schoolmaster. So it's not like we have to follow the law anymore. We're saved by grace. That is a person that's trying to usurp or trying to get rid of responsibility of obeying him. Don't you know we know that by now? Don't you know that we know that the people that try to use that as a way out of, it's a way out from obeying him. You don't want to obey him. You want to live as the world, have an attachment to the world. We've all done it. But at this point, you should know not to do it. You should know that there's one way, and that way is narrow. That road is narrow. Target individuals come back to you. The road is narrow. So you've been targeted all your life. It seemed like now you're really finding out you've been targeted. You know that God, I'm just going to be honest. You know who the God of the Bible is. You know that all the other religions only talk about in some way, shape, or form this God of the Bible and Christ and what he did at Calvary. Kind of weird, right? How other religions pay homage to this one God that everybody seems to be against. The one God that says there's only one way, when the other religions say you can go this way and you can go this way and come around the corner to get into God's kingdom and to be saved. And oh, you don't have to worry about just serving one God. No, but this one Bible, this one God says you have to only serve me. And so they're even them. They say they say that you can go other directions, but they're still making homage and making reference and notice of this one God, targeting individuals and everybody else. You know who God is. So stop playing. You want to live as the world. You want to do as the world does. But then what God's going to do at a time you don't know, he's going to snuff out your light. He's going to take away your candle. Your candle's going to be burnt out. And then you will have to meet him in judgment at the white throne judgment. It'll be like the light got turned off. Like, you know how you turn the light off? You know how like you do this, like you're one place and then all of a sudden that happens. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're in judgment. That's how I believe and always have believed that the end is. When the end comes, you're done, you're here, and all of a sudden you boom, and then you wake up and you see like thrones all around you. And out of nowhere, you're like, whoa, what happened? Now you're at that time, that place of judgment. And if you are there at that white throne judgment, you're gone. There's no hope for you. That white throne judgment is the second death. So that means you didn't make it. Now you're going to hear everything you did with the holy angels surrounding you. All of God's people are the holy angels and the Most High God and his cherubim. And everybody's going to be listening to what you did, who you are. And then only for him to say, depart from me, I never knew you. And inside, you will at this moment know there is no fading the funk anymore. That's a term we used to use. Or I'm younger than that, but a term they used to use. There's no lying or deceiving yourself no more. You knew all the time who God was. Now I'm just kind of letting you know, everyone I believe should be in the place of repentance now. Now, regardless of if you are still having issues with sin, like I am having issues with certain sins. Now, at least the mind should be, okay, I gotta kind of turn away from this notion that, these things are happening around me for no reason. Like I have to turn away from that mindset that says life is just, we're going through a hard, rocky period right now, and we'll get through it, and things will just be the way, kind of semblance of the way it's always been. And nothing's changed since the fathers have fallen asleep. There's been many things that have changed since the ancient fathers in the Bible in the past have fallen asleep. This world is completely on its last leg. This place that we live in, Babylon, is completely on its last leg, and at any time could be brought into a war in which everything changes in an instant. Destruction like never seen before. I'm pretty sure you've seen Celestial's videos. Everybody knows who Celestial is at this point. But you've seen her videos, and a lot, and it identifies with what I feel in my spirit and what I'm getting through my study, in my faith, in the Bible. And it's just, now's the time to make the decision to repent. No matter how hard it is, and what you might be going through, and how you might feel like, oh, but if I don't want to give this thing up because it's just, no, you got to be in the mindset where you're at least walking towards that direction. I'm just going to say that because I don't know how difficult certain sins are for certain people. You've done it for so long in your life, and I'm not giving you an out. I'm not saying you keep doing it, but I'm saying I can't just say, oh, just turn right now. That's something you're going to have to go through with God. But your mindset is what I'm saying. You should be like, okay, I got to get rid of that. It's not about like the past. I got to get rid of that. You know how people are saying the past, oh, I got to get rid of that, but you just don't really think of them. No, your mind at least should be like, I got to get rid of that, and you're serious about it. I got to turn from this thing that I'm doing that I know goes against God. Because here's another thing. You know when you're going against God. You know when you're doing the wrong thing. You know, or if you don't know, society will tell you that you're doing the wrong thing. The laws will tell you you're doing the wrong thing. Just your body, your temple will tell you you're doing the wrong thing. So don't say you don't know when you're doing the wrong things. You know. Every one of us know. I believe the majority of us know that when you are doing something that is not right, that is going against yourself or somebody else, you know you're doing the wrong thing. Now you have to find out those things that are actually what going against God, and that's in the Bible. And by now, I'm sure everybody's heard of the 10 Commandments, so you know that you should not have commit idol worship, putting things above God, putting things like your time and the things you put people and things that you like to do above God. When you should be reading the Bible, you put this thing before God. I do that too. I do it too. I'm not telling anyone on here that big me, little you. I'm saying at least though, at this time, in your mind, there should be something that is guiding or leading you or is pestering your brain, your thoughts to say, I got to turn away from that. If you don't at least have that, I don't see what hope you got. If you think that you're just going to have this transformation through osmosis or some sort of just miracle where you're just all of a sudden reading the Bible, you're all of a sudden not touching yourself, you're not looking porn no more, just out of nowhere. You're all of a sudden somebody tries to cause some dissension with you, and all of a sudden you're just not going to curse back at them and think all kind of evil, wicked thoughts towards them. This stuff has to be prayed out, binded out, cast out in Christ Yahushua Mashiach. You have to bind spirits, cast them out. You have to plead the blood of Yahushua. You have to deny your flesh. You have to be seeking him and praising him and asking him into your life and into your heart and asking him to give you wisdom. You have to be doing these things on a day-to-day basis. Blessings to you, y'all's burnt butterfly. You have to be doing this stuff and building yourself up in the spirit. This isn't something that's just going to happen like that. And if you think that, you're deceived. You are well deceived. You have been bamboozled. you have something has been filtering through your mind that has not been right. This is a battle, and in a battle you have to train. And if you don't train, you won't have the skills and the strength and the know-how and the cunning and in order to make it to the other side, in order to overcome the trial you can't just wake up out of the bed and be looking like $1 million. You got to go and clean yourself and look at yourself and put the right clothes on and put the stuff. You got to, come on now, it's common sense. Like it is for a target individual. It is common sense that you got to have a power that can defeat the power that's coming against you. The power that's coming against you is in the spiritual realm. Satan, the fallen angels, demons, demonic wicked spirits, familiar spirits, monitoring spirits. People are connected to brotherhoods and sisterhoods in Satan's kingdom. They're doing rituals. They're sacrificing animals, people. They're fasting in order to get power from Satan. You understand what I'm saying? They're delving in different types of crafts and witchcrafts and sorceries and things. I've already talked to you ad nauseum about this stuff. The spirits are against you. And if you don't have the power through the Most High God, then you are basically like an open door. You're like a person that's naked with no clothes on, and there's nothing but hungry monsters, wicked, evil entities around you waiting to feast on you. You have no covering. You have no protection against those wicked ones that have been designed to cause you to seek to cause you to be destroyed. Because the Most High God even said, he said, there's some people that are even made for destruction. There are some people in this world, and I'll put this scripture up here, that were made for destruction. Romans 9:21-22. What if God, intending to show his wrath and make his power known, bore with great patience the vessels of his wrath prepared for destruction? The vessels of his wrath prepared for destruction. He bore with great patience with them, right? These people were created for destruction, prepared for destruction. This is what it is. We are against a foe that has been prepared from the foundation of the earth for destruction. The ones that are against you, the ones that don't let up on their targeting, the ones that continue to hawk at your door around your house to make the noises around your, whenever you come around, they're making these loud noises. They're calling your phone and hanging up. You're feeling frequencies on your skin. It seems like your skin is burning, or you're feeling pains that come from nowhere. And people are talking about you. They're changing out of nowhere. They're just changing. Vessels of his wrath prepared for destruction. He made these people just for destruction, to show the people that will make it his love, to show his people that will make it his majesty. Like, look at these people right here. I'm letting you see this so you can see who I am. You can see, so his goodness towards them. And you'll say, oh, well, why would God make a creation so that that is supposed to be destroyed, right? He said right there in his word that he made them so that his people can see his goodness towards them. So the Most High God cares about those that are his. He does not care about those that are not his. You understand what I'm saying? Now, there will be those that will be saved in this world that are from the Gentile nations. I'm an Israelite that will say that to you, because the Most High God says there shall even be Gentiles that shall worship me on my holy mountain. But mind you, and trust when I say this, right? The Gentiles were given their own gods in the beginning. The 70 nations were given their own gods. And the only inheritance of the Most High God were the children of Israel, which are the Negroes scattered to the four corners of the earth. So these Gentiles will serve other gods. And as we can see, the world is flooded with other gods and other belief systems and other faiths and other stuff that tries to go in opposition against the Most High God. You can truly see the world and how corrupted and evil and wicked this world is, based off of this flood of this false worship and demonic evil spiritual practices that come from Satan's kingdom in the form of deity worship, fallen angel worship, all these other religions, right? So the Gentiles do serve these other gods, right? And make no mistake, there will be the majority of Gentiles that will not make it into his kingdom. And make no mistake, there will be Israelites, of course, that will mostly not make it into the kingdom of the Most High God, because of their being beguiled by these different evil spirits that the Gentiles presented to them, of course. And also because of their own wickedness. Because as we know, King Solomon, he was one of the first to go off and start to open himself up to the satanic kingdom and all of these different spiritual practices that went outside of the Most High God and all idol worship, serving other gods. King Solomon, yes, David's son. But what did Solomon do? He saw all these wives. He wanted all the wisdom. He asked God for wisdom. God made him the most wise man on the face of the earth. He had all these wives that had all these different spiritual practices. And so he started to partake in those spiritual practices that came from his wives. He had many wives, even Gentile wives. And so then he became one of the progenitors of these dark art practices. But of course, he came back to the Most High God later on. But he was one of the forefathers of instituting all of these different demonic type of practices to the mankind. That's why you got the Freemasons that have sort of a connection with the dark arts when it comes to some of the practices that was instituted by or brought into to play by Solomon, King Solomon, which was an Israelite. So there's going to be a remnant of people that make it on this earth into the Most High God's kingdom, right? But I'm one of those Israelites that will say that to you. There will be Gentiles that make it into the Israelite kingdom, but they're going to have to do it a certain way. You're not going to be able to deny the natural branches, which are the true Israelites, which are the Negroes scattered to the four corners of the earth. We're waking up. People are realizing, and they will, by the message that's permeating throughout the earth of those people over there not being the true people. their validity being questioned. People really taking a hold of Revelation 2939 as not being the true, of them not being the true people. The people are now widespread starting to look at those scriptures. People are widespread starting to finally hear the timbre and the voice and the just the cacophony of noises, that sound that's coming from true Israelites, the Negroes, saying we're the Israelites. They're starting to see the truth in our message, and they're putting putting two and two together. They're seeing that these people over there don't fit any of the prophecies. They're seeing that the people that claim to be the Israelites, they're not fitting the prophecies. So if they're not fitting the prophecies, who are fitting the prophecies? And so now the nations are putting two and two together. So the Negroes, as being the Israelites, is a truth that will begin to permeate throughout the world. It's just a matter of time, because the Most High God in his prophecies and how he said that Esau will be destroyed and the nations that came against his people shall be destroyed and pay for what they did. They're seeing now, those in the know that they're seeing there's an opposition coming against their power that they can't stop. But they don't say they don't know in secret. They don't say they don't know why it's happening. They know why it's happening. But there's something still in them that believes they can actually fight against this power, which is the Most High God. Something which is Satan has deceived them to believing that they have a shot. So the Most High God, laughing at them, will allow them to be built up as strong as they can ever be built up, like you see them now with their missiles and their nukes and all of their weaponry and all of their stuff, their fallen angel instruments of destruction that's been given to the deep state and all of their leaders. He's letting them be as strong as possible, only to destroy them with just a word. Just a word destroys these people that thought that they were so magnificently powerful and so strong and so capable of never they can be destroyed and they'll just rebuild, right? That's what they've always felt. Oh yeah, he may knock us down, but we will rebuild. But pretty soon it's about to be over, and they can see the writing on the wall. And so when they go inside the caves, he's gonna pull them out and bring them out with the holy angels. They're going to be removed. These leaders, these high influential satanic monsters that have corrupted this world to the state and brought it to the state that it's in now, they will see the holy angels. They will bring them out of the walls, and they will be judged, and then they will be thrown in the lake of fire. So I mean, there's no hope for them, none. So I would just say to you, people, target individuals, now is the real time to start to make that trek over to the Most High God. Make that trek over. Let me see. So you just got here. Blessings to you. Now I'm truly going to come over here. True Pepper Blue, blessings to you. Mac T address. What did you say? Shalom, bro. I believe that those at the upper targeting program are not human. Nope, they're not. They are hive-minded seed of fallen ones. Yes, they are. I've been saying that for so long. We are in the midst of those that look like people, individuals, but are not. It says in the Bible that you shall be amongst wicked, you should be amongst angels unaware. That can be fallen angels or the Most High God's holy angels that will be in the flesh of man, in the flesh of woman, in the flesh of a child. And they will be around you for an agenda to fulfill a purpose, an agenda. There's a purpose. They're there. They're always there. They're around us all the time now, but we don't notice them because we're not supposed to notice them. But they do things such as speak things into our lives. They get in relationships with us. They have children with us. Let me say that again. These fallen angels that are in human skin, they have children with the women, right? These women have these fallen angels that are in the shape of a woman, in the form of a woman. They have children with the man. So then these children will go out and populate the earth. They populate the earth, and now you have the spiritual temperature of the earth is dark and decrepit, and it seems like people have no morals. It seems like people around you aren't the same anymore. You look in their eyes, they look lost. They look like there's nothing there. They have no morals. They don't have any. It's these people that I believe are not fully human, right? There are Nephilim seed in the earth, right? Right? And I think that these people, the only way they can be this evil and to continue to come against us in the manners in which they have, to seek to destroy us at every turn, all the time, every day, is they can't be human with that type of spirit. There's no way. There's just no way. Blessings to you. Yah, burnt butterfly. I know that you did send me that email and I read it, and I'm gonna have to pray about that. So you know what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all's burnt butterfly. I have to pray about that. Let me see. Y'all's burnt butterfly. My maternal GMA was a high desert witch. Your maternal grandmother was a high desert witch, unbeknown to you, her firstborn female daughter, and sacrifice your dog on a winter solstice. Oh my goodness! You see, this is the type of stuff that they do in order to achieve power. It's all about the blood when it comes to sacrifices, right? Of course, we know that Christ shed his skin, shed his blood for us. And because of that blood, we are all saved that believe and trust in him. So on the other side, Satan will lead people to sacrifice individuals, people, animals to get the blood. And that blood is power. In the blood is life. And so when they sacrifice these animals, and these, of course, they do humans as well, for the purpose of elevation in the spiritual realm, or to have some sort of position of power or wealth or just influence in this earth. Now it's activated. The power is activated. Now the power is assigned to the one that made the sacrifice. So you actually receive, actually, the person that they try to sacrifice, they receive the power, or they say the star, from the individual that actually perished. So you ever hear about those people in Hollywood that when like they do these mass sacrifices, some of these artists, some of these musicians and singers, they get sacrificed, and then the person that did it, now they're elevated, and now they have a #1 album. Now they have a #1 hit, or they have a career that's budding and blowing up, and they're like the talk of the town, just like what they did to Aaliyah, that with Beyonce. And I just always have believed that they came up at around the same time back in 2001 and all that. Aaliyah died in 2001, and she had just got done doing "When at First It Don't Succeed, they get up and crying," that song, and she was doing this other movie. It was of this witch. She was getting ready to play this witch in this big, I guess, box office movie. And of course, Aaliyah's career had always been kind of strong, and everybody knew about her, and nobody really knew. Nobody was checking. Nobody was checking for Beyonce like that. She was in Destiny's Child, but they just probably had a couple songs with people liked and stuff. But she was doing like interviewing other stars at the MTV Awards type thing, where she'd be just following around people at the red carpet and interviewing people. And then one of the people she actually interviewed was Aaliyah. So she wasn't at that level. Aaliyah wasn't interviewing nobody. Beyonce was still trying to come up and make her name. And so when Aaliyah died, all of a sudden, whose name did you hear? It was nothing but Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. She was like the one in line. And I believe that she had something to do with that. Of course, Diddy and Jay-Z and all these other people and that were involved. And of course, these big wigs, Clive Davis and what is that guy's name? I forgot his name. Some wicked dude from the music industry. But once she died, once her plane crashed, Beyonce was now one of the major stars and took her star, so to speak. So they do this stuff all the time. The actors do it too. Like River Phoenix. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of River Phoenix before, but he was another one of these up and coming actors. And he, back in, I guess, 1993, I guess they said that they drugged him, or he died of a drug overdose. But some people now are coming out to say that they all knew, because they were all acting strange around him, and they're trying to get him to go to a certain place in this club, and they sent the person that gave him the substance, and they basically the whole industry knew what was going to happen, and they set this guy up, and he died, and then all of a sudden now you got DiCaprio coming up, or Johnny Depp coming up, and now he's like one of the main. So basically, they sacrifice an individual in their industry, and then they get their star. so to speak, in the spiritual realm. So now the Satan will now help them to become big. So certain people, I guess, in the industry have a bigger star than others. So like according to how big your star is, it could feed the whole industry. So they feed off of the energy or the so quote unquote star that comes from another actor or another magician. And according to how big that is, how big they are, and how much talent they really have, it can feed the whole industry. Or in the case of Beyonce, she was able to get the star from Aaliyah, which was huge. And Aaliyah would have been most likely very successful, huge musician, singer. But because Beyonce made that decision, maybe Aaliyah didn't make that decision. Maybe she did not make the sacrifice that she needed that would please those in the positions above her, the wicked that control that industry, the fake Revelation 3929 people. She didn't do the sacrifice possibly and didn't want to go be down with that, even though she had to have known things about and partook in the practices and the rituals in order to get to that elevated spot. Most definitely. She did know about the things that were going on in the background. She knew about Freemasonry and she knew about Eastern Star stuff. She knew about all of those wicked practices that they do, but she possibly didn't want to go to that other level and sacrifice somebody. But guess who possibly did? Possibly Beyonce did. And so had her sacrifice so she could take her star, or somebody else made the sacrifice possible so that they would take the star of Aaliyah. Anyways, so we know that these things happen, right? We are not alone. And there is nefarious, evil, wickedness going on around us that if you don't have a relationship with Christ, if you are listening to the news in order to get your information, if you are somebody that is still in that place of being just so deceived by what you see in this world and the images and the narratives and the that are given to you by these wicked people, I feel sorry for you. I just feel sorry for you. Blessings to you also. Let me see. Who else is here? Wolf. Wolf says, every time he relapsed on meth, gang stalking would happen to you. When you got sober, it stopped. Psalms 38 explains it well. When your foot slipped, your enemies magnify against you. Yes, yes, yes. Now that is what I've been talking about this whole time. When you open yourself up as a conduit, you are a conduit. Basically, people are conduits. They open themselves up to spirits to enter into them by the use of substances, by the use of partaking in these different spiritual practices, the kundalini, the astral projection, the whole third eye worship, all of the tarot card readings and the witchcraft and the sorcery and the sacrifice, all these things, these pagan practices. You become a portal that opens yourself up to Satan's kingdom. The spirit will come in, and then all of a sudden, people that have that same spirit in them, these gang stalkers, these spirits of hate, these spirits of addiction, these spirits of fornication, spirits of anger and jealousy and fear, these spirits will now jump into you because that's a spirit that you opened up when you decided to take these substances. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that when you smoke marijuana, you are becoming a gateway. You're basically becoming a portal, just like CERN is opening up a portal for demonic spirits to come into this realm. You should know that. This is not just them trying to split an atom and discover the stars and what's out there in a quote unquote universe. This is them trying to breach this barrier that the Most High God has placed between this realm and Satan's kingdom, bringing in demonic spirits in through CERN. So when you use drugs, you are making yourself a portal, and spirits know that they can set up shop in you. And so then the spirits in the gang stalkers, because they have the same spirits in them. If you haven't noticed, a lot of gang stalkers are on drugs. A lot of gang stalkers are those that are influenced by substances. So now they come after you because birds of a feather flock together. And so now but these people, they have familiar spirits talking to them in their ears, telling them things about you in your life because you opened yourself up to monitoring spirits that can now see things that have happened in your very life. that know things about how you feel and how you think and how you see the world. These spirits, I've been telling y'all for years, it's not just no technology. You're dealing with the spiritual realm. So don't think it's funny or weird when next time if you are using drugs, if you are excessively drinking. That's why they call it spirits. When they call drinking spirits, they're allowing spirits to come into you because you're lowering your guards, you're lowering your fence, you're allowing demonic spirits to jump over that fence and they fly in or however they get in, and then they become a part of you. Now they're guiding you. Now they're seeking. Now their agenda and their desires for you are now being carried out through your own choices. You don't have a choice anymore. Your choices are now been shaped and modified to fit the narrative of these demonic spirits. That's what happens. Let me see. Tim Shelton, blessings to you. Every time you sin, you open up a portal of darkness in which you could be attacked. Be mindful and stay prayed up. Blessings to you, brother. That is exactly what we are talking about. Exactly what we're saying. Exactly. Wolf says they say fire and smoke is the gateway to the spiritual realm. And there are spiritual laws when you step outside of God's will. You're vulnerable for a demonic attack, most definitely. Fire and smoke. Yes, those fire and smoke is paganistic type practices. Of course, you always see like bonfires where they always people sitting around a fire and they're worshiping these spirits and they're chanting and they're most of the time they're wearing the black uniforms and they're just the fire's always going and they do these things at these Freemason halls when they don't, when people don't, not the time when they have the services, but later on when they have their main services, they do these things. Also, these practices. Also, when they go out into Southern California during July and they have their meeting there, where all of those people they're worshiping in front of that owl. And I know you guys have seen that video from what's his name, Alex Jones, back in 2000. Where they were out there. You can, if you haven't seen it, you can go on YouTube and type Alex Jones 2000 the Grove or whatever that is. And so they are using the fire, of course, to summon demons, right? And they're also there's another thing that they do, and I forgot, it escaped my mind. Let me see. Fire, and they do that thing. Bonfires. What do they do? Yeah. Oh, of course, the KKK. They did that thing too. You always had the cross where they had the fire on it, and as they burn the fire. Where do you think that stuff comes from? The fire is invoking these spirits, and that's all they. So listen. We are dealing with an enemy that has children on this earth that carry out his plans, that have power in this world that you give to them, that we give to them based on the sin in our lives. So when you are sinning against the Most High God and his law, statutes, and commandments, you have now said to God that you don't want his hand on your life in certain areas. So you say, oh, I want you for this area, but I don't want you for this area. I want to hold on to this, but I'll give you this. So those areas of your life that you're doing that with, you're allowing yourself to open an open door for these spirits to come in. And this is the battle that we all have, is to close every door possible so that we don't allow Satan to have any foothold in our lives. And especially in these times, it is super important to close every single door that we've ever opened in Satan's kingdom so that we will not allow him to have any foothold in our lives, because there are certain sins that if we hold on to, they could take us out. There are certain sins and the level of evil in this world at this point in this world. It's like the spirits are strong in this world from Satan's kingdom, but our God is stronger. Our God is above every principality and every power. He says he shall deliver us from every evil way, and give and bring and deliver us from every evil way, and he shall bring us safely into his heavenly kingdom. He shall deliver us from the snare of the fowler, from the noisome pestilence, from our strong enemy. It says, the Most High God will never leave us nor forsake us. He shall preserve our going out and our coming in from this day forward. He says, though you be wicked, if you turn from all your wicked ways and do everything that I ask, you shall live and not die, and none of your sins shall be remembered. You have to understand the God we serve. We serve the one, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one that has all power to do all things, the creator, our strength, the one that makes the demons tremble. Never leave us nor forsake us. If it's been written in his word, if it's been promised to us, for us, then we have a surety that we have the victory over every trial that we face, every trial, every persecution. If we keep our eyes on the one that gives us perfect peace, man, we have it made. Mac, see address. You discovered the program was spiritual when you grabbed a harassing, weird-looking stalker by the throat and it smiled grimly and said, "You are Wow. See, we also know that in the Bible that the man that had the legions of spirits, he told Christ he was cutting himself. No one could hurt the guy. No one could do anything. No one could come close to that man. He just cut himself and was all just Christ came, took those spirits out of him. He said his name was Legion. So they're dealing with legions of spirits nowadays. Yes, you are correct. Yes, you are correct. Brother Tim Shelton says, blessings, my brother. You should do more music. I still listen to the mixtape you made. You got talent on the mic and good taste in them beats. Blessings to you, brother. Anyone that would like to hear some more of them beats and actually purchase some of the music, become a Patreon on my Patreon channel. You can go over to patreon.com. You can see it scrolling down at the bottom of my screen, patreon.com/JudahJ12. Go over there even right now, and you will be able to see all of the different choices of music. I have about 30 pieces of music or tracks in my Patreon page. It has different prices. Go there and go check your boy out. Help with the channel. That'll really help out. Also, I have material over there on my Patreon page of me and my personal life teaching. That might be somebody just to see me in my element, to see the other things that I do. Like, share, and subscribe, of course. But yes, that music, I put a lot of time and effort in that music. Some of it's older, some of it's newer. Talks about my experience. It's all centered on the Most High God. Spirit is centered on Israelite type of topics, targeted individual topics going on in the world. Yeah, so that music, yes, the beats that they're there. I chose those beats. None of those beats I did not make those beats, even though I do make beats. Haven't made them in a while, but those are some beats that I chose. I really think that they were amazingly crafted beats. And yes, go support the channel. You can also become a member of the channel. There are 3 different tiers that I have. Each have a different price. One is the tier where, of course, you get the emoji. One is a tier where you get even a track. I'll give you music, like one track, and like I think it's an emoji or something else. The other tier is where I give you some tracks as well, and then we have a one-on-one just between me and you. I send you a link from here StreamYard, and it'll just be a private link that me and you can talk about anything that you would like to discuss as far as target individual situations you're going through, whatever's going on in the world you'd like to talk about anything that you feel like I would be of service as far as to help you to see things in a certain way, or just get my input on whatever your question is or whatever you're kind of thinking about when it comes to these topics. So if you would like to become a member of the channel, you can go over to my channel and click on the join, and you'll see all the different tiers. If you would like to donate to the channel financially, which always helps, and I'm still going through the situation, guys, with the car. I'm trying to get my car to get a diagnosis. They said that my engine is completely whatever, having an issue with that. But then somebody else just recently said that it could be another issue. So basically, I need to get a diagnostic on my engine. Like my engine is a crank no start. So the person would have to come out to my literal house or where I live in order to do the diagnostic. So if you guys would like to help with that, you can go to Cash App. Once again, on the bottom scrolling, $ Judah J Talks 144. It would really help out. Also, you can go to the what is that? Oh, GoFundMe. That's all information that is in the Dropbox. You'll be able to see that at the end of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. It brings the people to the YouTube algorithm, calculates how many people push the thumbs up, and of course the subscriber numbers will also bring more people over to the channel. Okay, so blessings to you, Mac T Address. Mac, blessings to you, Tim Shelton. Blessings to you, Wolf. Blessings to you, y'all's burnt butterfly. Blessings to you, True Pepper Blue. Blessings to all those that are watching that I don't even see on the chat, your name on the chat. Please like, share, and subscribe. Once again, push the notification button so when I make lives, you will be able to be notified and join the live. And also, guys, next time, everybody in the chat, I want to open the channel up to be where, I send the link out and you guys come and we can have a discussion. So be planning for that next time. Right now, I got to go. But next time when we do Targeted Night Live, I would like for you guys to actually become a part of the actual discussion rather than just speaking in the comment section. If you guys heard what I just said, push 1. If you guys heard what I just said about being a part of the actual live discussion and actually clicking on the invite link, the next time I make a channel, make a show, please push 1 if you at least heard it. This doesn't mean that you have to actually do it, but just push 1 if you heard me just say that to you. Push 1. I would like for you guys to be a part of the actual conversation and actually push the link so I can invite you on and we can have discussions about these topics. Push 1 if you heard what I said. Okay? I'm not seeing anybody push 1. So, just wait a little longer. Push 1. I know you guys can hear me, so push 1. Now y'all ain't pushing 1. I know y'all. Oh, okay. Blessings to you, Randall Jones. Blessings to you, peace, love, harmony. Blessings to you all. Yes. So just remember that the next time. Let's make this a channel where we have other people on talking, sharing their experiences with being a target individual, sharing your experiences in your faith, what you are doing in these last times to make it through all of these different trials that we are all facing right now. It's good to hear from your brothers and sisters, to get that inspiration, to get that hope, and just to know that there's other people that are there that are that are making it through. Sometimes that's what people need to make it through, is to know somebody else is making it through, But anyways, blessings to you guys. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, push the notification bell. And until next time, blessings to you. Shalom.